Welcome back to my channel, you guys. I'm going to be doing reaction to new evidence prove David may get away with Calisius the murder.
Believe that David is gonna get away with this murder if he did it. Legal disclaimer. Okay. And I'm talking civilly and criminally. In terms of civil liabilities, we just learned that David is transferring all his properties into his mother's name. He just transferred 2 Texas homes into his mother's name. The only reason why somebody would do that is if they believe that they may be civilly liable at some point and they want to get ahead of it.
I mean, two things can be true. It doesn't necessarily mean he's guilty. He's just covering his A because, if someone sue you civilly, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are saying that you're guilty. You feel me? Unless you did it, of course, because he settled it less than 24 hours. So, but no, that doesn't really mean he's guilty. And I'm not saying he's not guilty. I'm not saying he's innocent, but that doesn't really it. He's just being smart. Shit.
So if the police keep dragging their feet, let's say this takes a couple of months. Well, David would successfully be able to transfer any asset he has, any current or future assets, into his mother's name, set up the system where them assets is probably in a trust and the trust belongs to the mom. I'll be real, civilly, even if they wanted to get something out of David, by the time the police get done their investigation, bro, all his assets would probably be in a trust under his mom's name, everything gone. Even if you win a judgment or a default judgment or something against him, you probably would never be able to claim that money or those damages because the police is dragging their feet. In terms of criminal charges, if he did this, he may have done a good enough job to where his track is just too clean. This may be one of those things where the police believe he did it, but they can't find nothing to charge him. That's because the timeline that we thought this murder was committed in may be completely off by a mile. Celeste's body was discovered September 8th. The logical assumption is she's probably been dead for a couple of days, maybe a week or two. Police came out and said they believe that she's been dead for an extensive amount of time, more than a couple of weeks. So people thought, okay, maybe she's been dead for like 2 or 3 weeks. Come to find out, no, that's not the case. If she's been dead for a couple of weeks, there's only so much somebody could really do to kind of hide their tracks, right? Again, they could do a lot, but there's only so much you could do in 2 or 3 weeks to hide your tracks and make sure that like all traces of you doing this is gone and disappear forever. But come to find out, that timeline that we thought happened may have been wrong by a lot. I'm talking about it may have been wrong for about 9 months. There is a private investigator that was hired by the homeowner in which like Celeste's body was discovered. Well, like because the Tesla was parked in front of a home, David lived there. The homeowner that David rented from, apparently he hired a private investigator. That private investigator, he laid out a theory and he believes that Celeste has been dead possibly since January.
Have come to me, and I've learned a lot now. Listen, a lot of it's circumstantial, right? But there are people that are directly in his orbit, and there are people that have photos and videos, and we've gotten a lot of photos and videos from inside the home itself. So we can put people at certain dates and times at the house, and there's a lot of them. It's in the thousands.
Do you know if Celeste was ever at that property?
So, what we recovered, we don't have any of her at that property. We have pictures of her and that were taken by David, we assume, because it's not on a camera phone, but these photos are on a regular camera at different locations. And it really makes me think that it's likely she had another place she was staying. I can tell you that there was a lot of time spent towards downtown LA. And I'll say the last photo that we have of Celeste is January 2nd, 2025.
Okay, now that's significant because we were wondering when she was last seen alive. There was that surveillance footage of her seemingly running away from her neighborhood.
And that was September of 24, I believe. So we didn't have anything. We were like, where was this girl in 2025? But we do have a photo of her on July 2nd, early in the morning, July 2nd, 2025.
He clarified in the comment section that he actually meant January 2nd, not July. So the last photo of Celeste is from January 2nd, 2025. And that's the last trace of Celeste. Because after January, she's gone. There's zero trace of Celeste anywhere.
Has anyone, and just to be clear, you don't know more information about when she died, right?
No, I don't have any information of how she died, when exactly she died. Investigations are always moving. And right now, I tend to believe it happened a while ago, a long time ago. And I think January, February, things change. I mean, you can see it in the photos and everything. And I also think when I first started looking at this case, I'm very much an Occam's razor type of person where I think things are a lot easier than people try to make them sometimes, especially online and these big things. And I thought this was going to be a tragic overdose, which it very well still could be. And they made a bad decision because they didn't want to expose a potential relationship and put her in this Tesla. And then maybe he thought he could get somebody to get rid of that car. And they were just like, no, I'm not doing it, and just got left there. But I will say this, there are some things that, and I'm talking physical evidence that was at that house that is, there could have been greater plans as far as getting rid of her. And it's scary, sadistic stuff. And that's why we're trying to learn more about that. I wish I could say more, but for obvious reasons I can't. But it doesn't have to do with how she died, but maybe how they were planning on ultimately getting rid of her and how maybe that Tesla.
Hell yeah, they were trying to plan how they can get rid of her, and nobody wasn't going to take the initiative to. Of course, they should have called the cops, but I'm saying like to basically hide the body. So they was like, F it. You finna go on tour. just act like everything is normal. And there you go. That's just my theory of what might could have happened.
So it was just a holding spot of time, and things just, their timing was just off as far as getting this done. But there's a few things that were just like, will blow your mind.
You give a regular person a month to hide a body, they'll probably do a good enough job to where the police will have a very difficult time figuring out what happened with this murder. You give a regular person 2 months head start to hide a body, they'll probably get away with it. You give a multimillionaire with every resource possible and an entourage of people willing to do whatever for him a year to hide a body and get rid of any trace he may have towards a murder, what do you think is going to happen? What's currently happening right now if he did do it? The police is lost, bro. They can't figure out what's going on. They have no traces, bro, at all. They don't even know how she was murdered. That's because Celeste may have been dead since February. The person who did it may have had a year head start to hide this. And if that person had millions of dollars, yeah, there is no trace because it's all gone. They had a year to strategically plan this out. And as he just said, he found some things in the house that hinted towards what the next plan was. And the next plan was to erase all trace, including the body. Erase every possible trace. They already erased all the other traces because the Tesla is supposed to have video. There's no video from that Tesla. It's all gone. It's all gone. Now, apparently, though, there's more evidence towards Celeste may have been dead since February because apparently the vehicle registration for that Tesla, it expired in the beginning of the year. And that Tesla also had a Christmas tree air freshener in the car. Well, listen, man. Strategically, or like common sense will tell you, they probably stopped selling Christmas tree air fresheners back in December. Nobody is keeping a Christmas tree air freshener for 9 months. Like, air fresheners don't even work that long.
Exactly.
So the vehicle registration being expired in the beginning of the year would tell you that it wasn't being used. And why would somebody just stop using their brand new Tesla?
So let me ask you this. If you see when the car was parked there, have you seen anything to indicate that Celeste's body was transferred into that car after the car was parked there? Or in other words, do you believe that her body was in that car the minute it was parked in the location it was ultimately towed from?
So I'll say I have no evidence of a body being transferred before or after. There's no evidence of that at all. But I will say when it was moved to that position, it was already like that. So that car had not been used in a very long time. It was super dirty, caked on dirt. I'll tell you, this was in late July. So it's bizarre because we also have got media that the car was used a lot. David even spoke about it in Instagram videos. He took it to a detail shop and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, the very beginning of the year, that car, something happens, and the car's doesn't show up anymore. It's not used. It seems to disappear. And then that red Tesla, which we didn't know until the search warrant was served, that there's a red Tesla in the garage, which I can tell you was at least on February 1st.
The last time Celeste was seen was in January. February 1st, David leases a new Tesla, a red one. Completely stops driving the black Tesla that he was in love with. Doesn't renew the registration for the black Tesla that was due in February.
Yeah, that's suspicious.
Celeste hadn't been seen since January. The timeline of when Celeste disappears lines up with the timeline of when the black Tesla stopped being used by David. We could all use our brains here, people. To me, that right there is the biggest clue that Celeste has been dead since about January or February. The black Tesla was then driven and parked outside of David's Hollywood Hills home. It was there for about a month before Celeste's body was discovered because it was parked there, I think like July, like mid-July. Celeste's body was discovered September 8th. So Celeste seemingly was in that vehicle or in the trunk of that Tesla for about a month and some change before she was discovered. One of the things that really turned my gut, really gave me like a bad feeling inside, was when I found out about the police investigation and what the private investigator discovered when he searched the house. So when the police went there, they searched the vents, they searched for blood, they searched everywhere. They could find no trace that Celeste was killed in that home. The private investigator goes and he searched the home. And what he discovers really made me say, yeah, it's a wrap. They may never find out what happened to this girl.
But now let's get to it. Okay, let's circle back to that Hollywood Hills rental property, how a private investigator, a PI, even got involved in this case. So according to LA Magazine, police had executed a search warrant on that property back on September 17th. So since David had been renting it for reportedly about $20,000 a month, a home that was owned by a man named Alden Trifonich. And officers reportedly collected electronics, computers. They searched the drains for traces of blood or tissue. At least that's the reporting from TMZ. Can't officially confirm that.
During another interview with News Nation, the private investigators hinted and broke down exactly why the police may have not found any type of blood, any tissues, or anything connecting Celeste to that house.
Let me ask you this, and I only have a couple seconds left, but you found some other suspicious things. The landlord, as you know, we obviously know now, allowed you into the house, and you saw some things in there that were very uncomfortable and very suspicious. I know you can't say certain things, but what can you tell us about what you saw inside the house?
Well, this is the landlord found it also, but there were some things in there that were hard to think about because these would be items that would be used if you wanted to get rid of a body, and there's really no other purpose for them at a house like this or anything. And they're expensive items, and so they weren't jokes, and but they weren't used. I'll tell you that they were still bucks. So I don't know how much we'll find out about that in the future because you can't charge somebody for thinking about doing something. But I think
no,
they
sure
had a plan.
But important to know, because first thing I said when I learned of that was that, well, that can't be possible because the LAPD raided the place and took everything. But you know for a fact that they photographed those things, and they're huge and heavy and expensive, and so they have ample information and photographic evidence of those things.
They said that we inquired about this, and they said that they photographed it. I don't know why they didn't take it. There's 2 items. I don't know why they didn't take them, but they said they photographed them.
2 very expensive things. Now, by things, I don't know if it was a product, a furnace, what. 2 very expensive things that are used to get rid of bodies or the traces of a body. And that was probably going to be used to get rid of.
Yeah, that's very suspicious.
But, you know, the car got impounded, and we know the story from there.
It can't be just a coincidence. If they had the resources
to get those 2 very expensive things and not even use it, what other things do you think they bought and used? What other things do you feel like they purchased, they used within the year that we believe Celeste was dead for? Or for 9 months, I should say. Come on, bro. Come on. If y'all think this is going to be a slam dunk, if y'all think this is going to be one of those things where, like the police gets a case within 2 weeks or 3, no, this is going to be a long investigation. They had a lot of time to conceal everything they did. They had a lot of time to make mistakes, go back and clean up those mistakes, then clean up the mistakes. They had so much time. I can't even begin to put in words what somebody with $1 million and 9 months can do when it comes to concealing the fact that they murdered somebody. At this point in time, the only hope the police got is to pray they made a mistake. Is to pray that, man, that they forgot to go over the 6 walkthrough. They dropped something. Because without them making a mistake, there's no hope for the police.
Or somebody just tell, you know what I'm saying? Since this is a 14-year-old girl, hopefully somebody just come up and just expose a nigga if he has something to do with it, or just tell exactly what happened. You feel me? Like, that's on your conscience, because at the end of the day, bro, and I'm just making, hypothetically speaking, this is not real. Not saying this situation is not real. Of course this is real, but I'm saying as far as what I'm finna say, like, if anything, you know, you hear about people dropping people off at hospitals and then going off. I would rather you drop it off, drop the body off somewhere, call 911 to come get it. Don't just leave the fucking body because you're scared and you don't want to be held liable for it. No, nigga, just drop the shit off. You know what I'm saying? There you go. Like, but yeah, I don't know. This case is going back and forth. Nobody can come up with a real solution. So it's probably gonna take like a year. Probably not gonna hear anything for real back as far as any justice, probably until like the summertime. And we just got out of the summertime. So it's like, it's crazy.
And especially too, when you got millions of dollars, you got an entourage of people willing to kill for you when it comes to that. You don't even got to be involved at all. Oh my God, man. Now, the private investigator was at least, we have some progress and some good news. He was at least able to ID the driver of the vehicle, the person who parked the Tesla in front of the house before it was there for a month, before it was impounded. The private investigator was able to ID that person. And apparently that person was part of David's entourage because that person was seen on a tour bus before they left.
But talk to me about the date of this video, July 29th, and talk to me about what you saw. What did you see in terms of the identity of the person driving through that open window?
So it's very clearly that Tesla one, because the Tesla has that tape on the rear spoiler for whatever reason. I don't know why it's there. And also, it was just like it is in that picture. It was that dirty, except you could tell that they had run the windshield wiper like once to clear the dirt away so they could see. And it comes very close to the camera, although there is some motion blur, but you can see the person and you can see what they're wearing, something pretty distinctive. And there's photos that I have from 12 hours earlier, a person at the house wearing the same thing.
And I know that the viewers right now are screaming at the TV set saying, Ashley, ask him who it was.
I mean, I honestly wish I could tell you. I don't want to, I don't want to interfere with LAPD on that. And I think that's coming because we know a crime was committed 100%. Somebody concealed her body, and hey, maybe the reason I don't want to say the person's name is because maybe this person was just someone that was asked to move the car, and didn't know. I find that very hard to believe, and I doubt that's the case. But just in case, I'd rather LAPD make that announcement.
Well, and it's important for us to tell viewers as well that you turned all this material over to them. You're the one who found it. You're the one who took it to them. You're the one who said, and I connected it to the photos from just 12 hours earlier, and here's the clothing. It looks like this could be an ID. July 29th, important because that was the last day that David was in Los Angeles, right? But before he went off on his tour. So he was there in Los Angeles on that day that drive happened.
Yeah, I've seen on one of his public social medias, he had put a video out where it was the first day on their new tour bus because they were going to San Francisco for the first night of the concert series, and they did a video from inside the tour bus. So I believe hours after that car was moved, they actually got on the tour bus and headed to San Fran.
Oh, there goes the alibi. So we know David was in LA when that Tesla got parked, and that Tesla didn't move for a month, but somehow her body was found in that Tesla's trunk. So the body had to have been there before that Tesla was parked. So the alibi of, man, he was on tour. Well, that's gone. That's out the way. So that's the only positive news here. That's the only good news here. Now, we need to have the name of the person who was driving that Tesla. Y'all got to release it. Y'all have to release it, right? I don't care if they didn't know. You tell us who told you to park that Tesla there. You tell us why was you parking that Tesla that wasn't registered, even though it didn't belong to you. Who told? Did David tell you? We got to know this information, man. But I'll be real, man. Once I heard that she could have possibly been dead since January or February, first off, what type of parents would wait 8 or 9 months without seeing their daughter? Now, the private investigator did take to his Twitter to address, I think, a family member claiming that they saw Celeste, like July-ish or something like that. They did further investigation and found out the family member lied or may have been mistaken, which to me is suspicious as well, because why would a family member lie about something like that? So the investigator says, I'm starting to believe that the information I received claiming a family member messaged with Celeste in July was incorrect. Rather, that's accidental or intentional by the family member. I'm not sure. There's no trace of Celeste after early 2025 that I can find. The parties attended by a family member were in 2024 during the missing but not really missing time. So the family member and tells the guy, hey, I went to a party. I had contact with Celeste at a party in July. Come to find out, the party that they're saying they've seen Celeste at or they texted Celeste about was actually in 2024. The party was not in 2025. The Tesla's Texas registration expired in January of 2025. It was ticketed twice in late February in Hollywood, then not again until it was impounded. I can't find any trace of Celeste since very early 2025, although I fully admit that some sharp people on Reddit and YouTube are more dialed into her digital footprint. The Discord server activity and may have a signs of her in 2025 I'm not aware of. At this point, I'm starting to wonder if something may have happened to Celeste many months ago. Now, this was about 16 days ago, before his interview yesterday. So since then, he's done his investigation, he's done his work, and he has came to the...
Bro, I just noticed this nigga put his glasses on for this shit, to read this shit. I was wondering, I was like, bro, he did not have no glasses on the beginning of this video. But let's get back serious. Like,
that Celeste has been dead since about February. But why would a family member lie about messaging her or seeing her at a party if the party
I don't know why.
Until 2024?
They probably
now there has been
the dates wrong.
Again, this is all allegedly now. There's a kid, and we covered this a while back, where he alleged, David was actually showing up in a community that like Celeste was from and paying people to be quiet, right? About seeing her with him. So is it possible that maybe a family member got paid off? I would not imagine which family member will accept payment for something like this. Okay. But y'all let me know in the comment section. What do you guys think about this, man? Do y'all believe that David did this? Do y'all believe that the killer will ever get caught? If there is a killer? Maybe the only crime that could have been committed here is they concealed her body maybe after she overdosed. We won't find out because the toxicology is apparently going to take another 60 days. But let me know what y'all think, man. All right, I don't have all the answers. I want to hear from you guys. If you're watching this video and...
Yeah, so it could be all different kind of scenarios. The only like theory that I'm gonna pretty much come up with or stand on for real is that David knows something, because whether he had any involvement in it, I can't put that on him. I can't say he's the cause of, the situation, but he knows about it. Like, he knows something about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, she could have OD'd off of something, and everybody panicked. His team probably panicked, and they just try to, disclose the body and ended up telling him. And he's like, damn, well, she is underage. I mean, I'm gonna get in trouble. So let me just, you feel me, go along with it. You just never know. Or he could have 100% had something to do with it. Probably killed her. You feel me? Whatever. You know what I'm saying? But we don't know yet. So, but y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. When do y'all feel like this case is going to be solved? Because it's been ongoing with different stories. Nothing is sticking. At least they got somebody, who they saw drive the car before they went off a tour, who parked the car before they went off on tour. So that's good. But yeah, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Check my links in my description. Don't forget to visit my website, zodiacscienceent.com. I got some merchandise for you. All 12 zodiac signs. And no matter when your birthday is, I got some good merchandise for you. So go check that out. I'm out.
Don't you see me right now, baby girl? I'm on the grind. I ain't really got no time to waste time. Baby, I'ma shine.